Evening all, and welcome back to Kerbalism. Now, I am putting this moon science rover, which we failed to get to the moon in the last episode, into a stable orbit. And the reason I'm doing that is because I have a plan to get it to the moon and drive it around the moon and to successfully do all the moon bits that we want to be doing with it. So I'm going to get it up to try and get it to a sort of round orbit, I suppose. That would make life easier to rendezvous with it. Where are we? We're 450, shall we say? That'll do. That's close enough. Now, I think that is still inside the radiation sphere. It is awesome, so we don't have to worry about them catching stupid high radiation, which is good. Which is a good thing, because we don't want that. We don't want to be exposed to. Oh, we are being exposed to stream radiation. Are we? Really? I didn't think we were. Oh, okay. Okay, but they're not going to be there for very long, and they do have shielding, so that's fine. That's got shielding. That doesn't have shielding, but there's no one in there. And that does have shielding, so we're good. So what I'm going to do is I am going to where is that detachment point? A couple. Yeah, roll. Always get that roll. Always get that roll. Yeah, I was looking for its detachment on there so I could just stage it, but oh well. There we go. So yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to send up another craft, similar in design to the end of this, and it's going to have a probe, and it's going to have a docking port and another docking port. And we know that Bill here, if we go to Bill's inventory, he has a wrench which will allow him to attach equipment, but only on nodes. There's a node on the front of this. So that's the idea. I'm going to send up something with a docking node, and we are going to take it off, attach it to the front of this craft, dock the two together, and it's going to have a fuel tank. And then that fuel tank will be able to send us to the moon. Or this fuel tank will send us to the moon. We can detach it and leave it in orbit, land this, and then if we need to, we could return this to the orbiter, dock it to it, to refuel to come home. That's the plan. That's the plan. So let's go and build that quickly before these Kerbals start glowing green rather than just being green. And here we are, ready to go. It's the same booster at the bottom, but it's just got basically a giant fuel tank, a couple of docking ports, and lots of batteries and things. So let's get up here, shall we? Set as target. That's not the right one. Set as target, that one. Now, it doesn't particularly matter where we launch. It would be easier if it was closer by so we could get to it quicker. So it is a much higher orbit. Let's wait for it to get round to, say, there. Are we? Because it's going to be a lot higher, but then we are running shorter, so we'll actually be playing catch up with it. But as long as we can get somewhere close by to it, I suppose I should just wait for the same place, shouldn't I? Let's just put it there. So right there. I'll do. Okay. And I'm going to manually launch this. We're not going to do it with gravity turn, because gravity turn seems to forget that this only has 2 ignitions. And that's a problem. So, turn the engine down. Everything looks good. Go. Go, 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 go. Awesome sauce. Right. This actually has 8,000 meters a second of delta V to it. So it can definitely get to where it needs to go to. I'm just going to lean it over a little tiny bit. I'm going to put it into prograde so it leans over. And we'll let it go. And It should do just fine. Hopefully. See if I can get some form of intercept with it, and then we'll be kind of good. Yeah, you see the delta V there going up. So we're actually firing the engine. We are flying, and our delta V is going up, which is weird. But hey ho, doesn't matter. Right. When these run out, I'm going to cut the. I'm not going to cut the engine. I'm going to lower the engine down in speed, so we're not travelling at stupid high power. But now we'll do. Let's start lowering that down. Because these will run out and then they disconnect, and then because we're not firing the engine at full power or leaning over or doing anything weird, they can just fall away nice and gently. Okay, we'll probably still work to full throttle there, but yeah, there you go. Right. So we need to get our apparatus up to here. So let me just lean over and wait for this to get to about 45 degrees. It's kind of where I want to aim for. And then we're going to just throttle the engine up and go for it. See what happens. We're actually losing speed. Let's do it now, actually. There we go. That's better. Must have cut back on the fuel a little bit too much. Okay. And hopefully this can get us out to roughly where it needs to be. I'm not concerned about using the fuel in this stage if I need to for Rendezvous. It's got plenty. We do have this stage here, which should be fine. And then we've got in this fairing, we've actually got another engine and other bits and pieces. So if we use this up as well, absolutely fine. No problem at all. Okay, let's speed up time a little tiny bit. We're going to miss our target by absolutely miles. We're going to be here somewhere and he's going to be back here. I betcha. Oh, we're oscillating a fair bit. Why is that? Let me turn the gimbal down on that, please. Yep, that makes sense. That's the poodle, that's fine. Did I grab the right? Oh, this might be the Mimbus version of it. What did I call this craft? I can't remember. Moon? No, it's the moon, right? Oh well. Okay, so let's push up until we get to about 500,000. Slow time down. Slow the engine down. And yeah, we're going to be way away. So let's just boost past it. And let's do that. Let's do that. We've still got one ignition left on this engine. We've got 1 meter a second left. There we go. Right, job done. Couldn't have cut that shorter if I tried. So let's disconnect that and let that go. Let's drop the fairing. Pow. There we go. We have solar panels. They are just fitted. They're not anything special. And yeah, there it is. We've got a command pod inside a little box there. So yeah, everything's dead awesome. That will return to the planet. Cool. Let's walk around to our apparatus. And we'll still be in the sun there. That's a good thing. It means we'll still be getting some form of electric charge. We're not actually in orbit yet. We are still going to descend back down into nothingness. But that's fine. That's fine. What we can do now is fire this engine up, and we got loads of 26 ignitions, 20 odd minutes. Awesome. So let's fire up that like so. In fact, let's fire it up all the way because it doesn't appear to be particularly helping us. It's a slow engine. Yeah, it's a slow engine. That's fine. And this is actually increasing, which is a little worrying. kind of figured it would actually drop because we're moving it further along. We would end up being much higher. I think this is the one we should be looking at. Yeah, when these two match up. Not that one. That one's going to be way off. So yeah, so let's line this one up, and then we can do a bit of docking. I didn't put any RCS on this. That was a mistake. Oh, damn it. Yeah, that was a big mistake. The other craft does have RCS, so we'll use that one. For any form of docking, you really do want RCS. It's really difficult to do without it. Okay, I don't think we're actually going to get an encounter. No, we're going to fly past them. Zoom. There we go. That's fine. That's fine. So we need to make our orbit bigger. So for anyone who doesn't know, when docking, when trying to dock or rendezvous, let's stop. If your target is behind you, you want to have a larger orbit. A larger orbit takes longer to travel, so therefore you will take a longer time to get around, and he will take a shorter time to get around, and that means the target will catch you. If it's the other way around, if you're behind the target, you want a smaller orbit so you catch them. So that's the first trick to it. The best way would be to set something like this up. So you've just got a larger orbit all the way around than the other craft, and then add a maneuver node there. Bring it down so that the paths cross. Anywhere doesn't matter. So you get an intersection, and then just move the. Oh, don't do that. Sorry, I dragged the wrong thing then. Yeah. So bring the maneuver node down so your point on roughly where the orbit is. So you're coming down to its orbit, and then move the maneuver node around until the intercepts get very close to each other. You see, I'm moving this around here. Look at this one here. That's 18 kilometers. Right here, 13, 10, 4, 1. There we go. 0.4, 0.3, 0.2. Very, very gently. It's quite difficult to do. I don't know if you can move it along on using the commands down here. You may be able to, but I'm not sure. I think. See, that moves it. That moves it a tiny bit. So you can turn the slider down here, and then. I'm moving it along the orbit, and it's dropping by timelines. There we go. So we're going to be 100 meters away from each other there by doing that maneuver, and that's the best way I found to do it. I said if the target is behind you, get a bigger orbit, set your maneuver up to bring your orbit down to cross it at any point, and then you can just right click on these nodes here. Let me turn that all off. So you've got it like this. If you right click on any of the nodes, so the apoapsis, the intersect node, any of those, if you right click on them, their separation will appear, and it just stays all the time. When you right click, it just sort of stays. So you can then move this round, change the nodes here, use the maneuver planner in the bottom corner, just move it around till eventually you get a separation that's really, really close. So that means you want to perform this maneuver. Then when we get down to here, so let's go and do that. Let's rather than talk about it, let me show you it. It's the easiest way. And it's exactly the same as if you're behind the target and you're trying to catch up. You just make your orbit smaller and then make a maneuver node to go out to match it, and then move it around. You might have to move it around a couple of orbits completely, because it may take you 2 or 3 orbits to catch your target, depending on how far away you are from it. Okay, so we're going to be firing almost retrograde. So point retrograde, and this sort of what I'm saying here will work around Kerbin, it'll work around the moon, Mimas, around the sun, it'll work everywhere. It's all the same. Orbital dynamics, or whatever you want to call it, are all the same. You just change the reference body. Right now we're around Kerbin. If you change the moon, it'd be exactly the same thing. If you're trying to catch somebody that's on an elliptical orbit, it's more difficult. As in, if I was trying to catch this one here, it's more difficult, but the principle is kind of the same. If you kind of match their orbits and get close to it, then you'll be alright. So we'll do this maneuver node here. And if I turn that off now, you'll see we've got the intercept has changed to 4.9 because I didn't get maneuver exactly correct. If I just fire the engine ever so gently and try and bring that down as close as you want it to be under 1 kilometre, but it doesn't have to be, as long as it's sort of the closer you can get, the better, really. There you go, 100 meters. If you can get under 1 kilometre, then the jiggery pokery is a lot easier. If you can't, if you can only manage sort of 5 kilometres or so, it's still the same principle. Go and do that. So now we want to go to this intercept here, so we want to walk around to roughly here. But it's all the same principle. You want to go to the intercept, get as close as you can to it, and then match your orbit with the craft. Once you've matched it, you can then start mucking about trying to find how to get to it. So the best way to match it is to basically change this here. You click here, orbit, surface, target. Now we are traveling faster than the target, so it doesn't matter, faster or slow. You want to go retrograde if you can. If you haven't got the maneuver options here because you haven't got a probe or your Kerbals haven't leveled up, just find it on the mark here. You'll see retrograde, the symbols are in there. Prograde is a flat, like an upside down T, and retrograde is a 3-pointed. The symbols, they probably have names. I don't know what they are. Yeah, so you want to wait sure until you get close to it. I have better burn moves, so it tells me that I've got 18 seconds to do a burn here. You kind of have to figure out and sort of guess to it. Your best bet would be wait till you're nearby it. So, you know, sort of, depending on how strong your engine is, depends on how quickly you want to launch and figure it out. Basically, if you arrest your speed, your target speed here, the difference, if you drop it down to 0, you'll be traveling the same speed as your target, and it will mean you'll stay with it. There is some drift and stuff to deal with, but generally you'll stay with it. So you want to do this and fire down and loads of ignitions on that, that's fine. And slow right down. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. So 0.1 meters. So we'll drift away at 0.1 meters a second from our target. So that's fine. That's absolutely fine. So now to get close to the target, if you're like this, if you're traveling very, very, very slowly, you'll see, if you come out, you'll see your orbits are pretty much the same. So you will stay roughly the same. Your best bet is just point towards the thing. Try and figure out where it is. And gently drift towards it. Much easier if you've got RCS. Because, in fact, yeah, it is much easier if you've got RCS. So I'm just going to point that way. Okay, there's my target. So if I just point towards the target, then I know I'm facing roughly the right direction. I'm going to switch over to this one here. Boom. I'm going to rotate it around so that its solar panels actually are in the sun. That would help. And then we'll target this thing here. There we are. And we will point at the target. Like so. That pink marker is where our target is. It's not retrograde or prograde, it's just where your target is. And then you turn RCS on, and instead of using shift and control to control your throttle, move your hands over the keyboard to the other side. If you're on the console, I don't know the controls, I'm afraid, but I'm sure they're in there somewhere. And you've got I, K, J, and L, which change to up, down, left, and right. And by up, down, left, and right, I mean if you look directly at the craft, if you push I, your craft, you can see the things running there. Your craft will push out, and if you push K, it'll push down again. So we are actually. I need to rotate the camera around. Let me see. Free camera. There we go. So if you set free camera and then do that, I will be pushing the craft down because you're firing upwards. K is push the craft up. J will push it to the left, and K and L will push it to the right. Then you've got H and N, which is forward and backwards. So if I push H, you'll see it goes forward. Push N, it goes backwards. So all you do is line yourself up with the craft, push H to fire your thrusters forward, and maneuver nodes are really terrible. So RCS engines are really, really slow. And there you go. You'll see your prograde marker will appear after a little while. And what you want to do is you want to put this green marker on the pink one. So stop looking here, just look down here. And if you push I, you'll move the marker down. So we want to do that. We want to move the marker down, bump till it's lined up with the pink one. Then we want to use L to move it over. And again, a little bit like that. And there you go. It is now on that pink marker. That means this craft is travelling directly towards that one, which is exactly what we want. Let's accelerate time a little bit. I'm going to use physical time warp, so holding Alt and doing that there, because I don't want to crash into it. That would be very bad. Changing the camera with V is very helpful when you're trying to do this, because it lines your camera up with the craft. So you'll know that up is up and down is down, and it's just so much simpler to try and figure out. In fact, you know what? We can actually use proper time warp to do this, because we're a long way off. Just make sure you're not doing it terribly. Yeah, see, now because of the drift, because we're 0.3, it's not lined up properly. But that's fine. That's not a problem. That's not a problem. Because again, we can just use our RCS. So we know the pink marker's down here. So if we press I, push the green one down, boom, there we go. And now we're travelling back towards it again. And it's simple as that. It's ignore what's happening in the screen up here. Use the nav ball. Use the nav ball to see it. Remember, WSD changes where you're facing. So if I push W, we'll turn my RCS off. Don't want to waste it. Push W, will change where the nose pointing. But the I, J, K, and L is the RCS actual thrusters, and it changes the actual way the craft is facing. The way it's pointing and the way it's travelling can be two different things. There's probably a lot of you watching this which know exactly what I'm talking about and thinking, sharp, get on with it. But I'm trying to explain it because why not? Why not? Okay, so that's good enough, and we're going to be travelling towards it. I think I need to change my a bit because we're going to run into each other, aren't we? Let's aim the camera down here. Yeah, it looks like it's going to run into each other any second now. Let's just bump into each other and it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So we'll just bump and stop. Boing. There we go. Now we're travelling 0.3 meters a second the other way. So we want to stop that. Again, using the RCS, press H just to put forward. Just to slow us down a little tiny bit. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. Okay. Come this way a bit, please, if you don't mind. That T-sync is, again, I think part of better burn time. It tells me the synchronous orbit. We are 113 milliseconds away from each other, and it disappears because it can't figure out it's too close. So, anyway, that's close enough. Let's get Bill out, and he is actually going to be getting radiation damage, so we need to do this fairly quickly. So, let's bring up his inventory. Let's right-click and equip that. There we go. What we should be able to do is we should be able to grab this with, is it G? Oh, there we go. And then we can hold H and attach it there. Boom, like that. There we go. Kerbal attachment system, dead easy. G to grab, H to attach. Nice and simple. Now the wrench allows you to attach things just normally, and the electric screwdriver allows you to use nodes. I guess I got that the wrong way around. So we can get back in there. And now we have a docking port on here. So what we can do is I'm going to aim the camera down here again. I'm going to double click the docking port so we actually target the docking port. And then I'm going to try and dock. So how do we dock? How would be the best way to do that? Let's reset the camera to 3. No. Aim myself back down here again somewhere, so I'm actually at the right place. And we want to basically point our nose towards the pink and travel towards it. But we need to be lined up. This won't work because we're at an angle compared to this. So what we need to do is we need to actually travel that way. I pressed the wrong button there. So we're going to travel past it. We're going to try and line ourselves up with it. So we'll do that. So I'm not pointing at the pink marker. I'm kind of pointing, trying Trying to get myself straight with this craft here. And then we're going to go forward. This is really, really slow. And there's our marker. So once we see the marker, we can actually try and line this up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and have the green marker pushing the pink marker towards the orange marker, if that made sense. Then once you get close enough, magnets take over and they work like magic, and everyone loves magnets. There we go. What I meant there was that if you look down here on the marker, if that was the pink marker, that say the orbital was the pink marker, in order to move that pink marker to here, we don't want to change the orientation of the craft, we want it to face that way so it's lined up with the other one. What you do is you put your green prograde marker over here, and because you're travelling that way, it will push this pink one this way. So you put it over here, it pushes the pink one onto your straight marker, you then line all three up together, and that means you're travelling in a dead straight line, in a dead straight way where you're going. I just bashed my mic, sorry about it. And you dock, and there you go, job done, and we get a contract complete, I think, don't we? No, because we have to put a station, and this is not good enough for a station. But yeah, that's how you dock. That's how you dock, and we have got loads of fuel on this now. We've still got loads in there. Still got a bit in there. That's fine. I'm going to go here and click Control from here just to make sure I'm facing the right direction, so I know what I'm doing. I am going to change this up, and we're going to put the fuel into that end. There we go. And I think I'm going to leave that open, actually. If I pin them and leave them open, then this tank will still be full. And I'm going to do that because we want to use this engine. So let's shut down this one. Okay. And then we're going to have to go to the moon, because that's what we're here for. So let's set the moon as our target. Let's add a maneuver node here. Let's go out. Bump. And then let's move this around until we get, and then there we go. So, and we can slow down and move that along a bit further. There we go. Awesome. That'll do. That'll do. We got an encounter with the moon, and it will put us. Yeah, that is good. That is good to me. Awesome. Nice and easy. So let's go to the moon, and then we can finally get this landed on the moon. So the mission wasn't a complete scrub. I just didn't think about doing a docking, which I hadn't done for a long time. But I hope that's helped somebody. If you've got any questions about how docking works, then do ask in the comments below. I will answer, or somebody far smarter than me will try and answer and try and figure out what it is. It's I don't find docking difficult because I've just understood it, and I have had a lot of experience. I've got thousands of hours in this game, and yeah, I've done it and I've understood it. But some people don't get the initial orbital thing, which is why I was trying to explain that. A lot of people explain how to dock, but don't explain the rendezvous. And as I said, that's the easiest way I know it. If you're, set up the maneuver, do it that way. Try and get close to it, and then do it that way. If you don't have RCS, you can do it with the main engine. I would seriously suggest changing the thrust right down to like 5%, so you're only tiny moving bits and pieces, with it. So it is doable, but you have to basically fire towards the target and then turn about face and fire away from the target, otherwise you'll crash into each other. So yeah, but it's doable. It is definitely doable. Okay, let's go around to here. Oh, that was an awesome stop. Look at that. And we will head to the moon. And if I tell that to go in and in, it will drain this tank instead of that tank, because we can transfer fuel through all this by magic. Okay, so we'll head to the moon, and that's where I'm going to leave this one here. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this one. I hope to see you again in the next one, which will be in the new year, so have a good new year. And I hope you've had a good new year. Actually, this will be in the new year. Sorry, this will be released on the 1st. So yeah, I hope you had a good new year, and I hope to see you in many, many more videos to come in 2020 and beyond. So until the next one, as always, have fun.